Chapter 39. Kai. Kai and Summer strolled along the now well-trodden path that used to be untouched just months ago. Each of them held a bundle of fish in their hands, evidence of their successful fishing trip. It had been a splendid morning, but one that still played out in Kai's mind that he and Summer had shared earlier. Maggie Muggs bounded ahead of them, her eyes locking on Lonnie in the distance. Kai, despite himself, enjoyed the sight of camp's vibrant activity. It was a surprise considering Hayden had transformed into something else than originally planned, or so he thought. He turned his head, taking in the sights and sounds of Hayden. It had transformed into a vibrant community, teeming with the sound of children's laughter and the bustle of people working together for a common purpose. A sense of peace settled over him. Lonnie was right again. This was what he had been searching for all along. A place where people lived and worked as one, with a genuine sense of unity and purpose. He looked over at Summer, and a small smile tugged at the corners of his mouth. In that moment, he realized Hayden was more than just a refuge. It was home. Lost in thought, he stood there, absorbing it all in. Behind him, he could hear the faint sound of footsteps approaching. He turned to see who it was, and his eyes landed on a tall, blonde woman, her hair cascading down her back, swaying with each step. It was Leah, the root of their anxiety over protecting everything they were fighting to keep safe. As she came closer, he noticed the determined set of her jaw and the slight furrow in her brow, making her appear worried. She glanced at him, quickly lowering her head to avoid his gaze, as though she could sense his suspicion towards her. Her demeanor changed when Lonnie's voice rang out, beckoning for her to come over. She hastened her steps, hurrying over to Lonnie's side. Summer muttered some curses under her breath, but Kai ignored her as he watched Leah approach his sister, her tense body relaxing with each step. She paused, a strand of hair falling across her face as she gazed over at her son. He was sitting in the sand, his tiny hands grasping at a collection of colorful toys. Her voice carried over to him, but Kai couldn't make out the words she spoke to the child. She knelt down beside him, speaking to him with a gentle smile on her lips. The sunlight caught her hair just right, causing a fluttering sensation to stir in Kai's stomach, unable to tear his eyes away from mother and child. Eventually, Leah rose and continued her way toward Lonnie. Okay? Summer's voice jolted him out of his thoughts. He turned to face her. Welcome back, Kai. Where were you just now? Are you lost? She waved her hand in front of his face with a questioning expression. He looked away from Summer, avoiding her accusing gaze. Do you want to give me the fish? I'm gonna go clean them. With their hand outstretched, Summer motioned for him to pass her the fish he held, her bundle slung over her shoulder with her other hand.
Yeah, that would be great,
he said, stumbling over his words. His eyes narrowed over at the young boy playing, his sandy hair and skin tanned from hours spent under the sun. A sudden spark of orange caught his eye. Without hesitation, he reached inside his pocket. The feeling of emptiness hit him like a punch in the gut. Where's your head at, man? Summer took the fish from his hands and added them to her own.
What are you talking about?
Kai scoffed, looking down at Summer, now loaded up with the catch of the day.
My head is right here. Just thinking. That's all.
Well, I hope you're thinking about what we discussed on the boat, Summer said, irritated and something else, but Kai couldn't put his finger on it. He cocked an eyebrow at her, giving her a little shove on her free shoulder.
Can you handle all that weight, little dragon?
The young girl's eyes shot up, bright and alert. She seemed to grow right then and there in front of him, as if she couldn't believe what she was hearing. Why did you call me that? Her voice was hoarse, like she was about to lose it, which was shocking since she never shut up. He wrinkled his brow and shrugged, confused.
I don't know, you just remind me of one. Fierce little she-devil who spits fire if you piss her off.
He smirked and gently nudged her jaw with his fist.
You even look like a dragon, even if you are a chihuahua-sized one.
Fuck you, Summer bellowed. Her face was flushed and full of life. She turned to go, but then looked back at him, her face still glowing. You gonna come later? She nodded towards the communal space for meal preparation and cooking. It was a recent addition, easier to accommodate more people staggering into Hayden, hungry and shell-shocked.
I have a couple of things I need to do, then I'll head over.
Summer looked at him, and back to where he was looking at the boy. I know he's just a kid. I get it. It's not him I have a problem with. Her voice was low, the playful tone gone.
I know.
He didn't look at her, his eyes lingering on the boy playing. She gave him one last look, then turned, heading towards the cooking area.
Don't burn anyone with that hot mouth of yours,
he called out as she walked away, her back loaded down with her catch. Without glancing back, she raised her hand and flipped him off, not breaking stride. Kai's lips curled into a sly smirk as he strode towards the boy, noticing the orange object in his hand as he dragged it through the sand. He stopped in front of the child, his tall frame casting a shadow over him, blocking out the warm rays of the sun that had been shining down just moments before. The boy lifted his head to meet Kai's gaze, revealing his solemn hazel eyes.
Where did you get that?
Kai stooped down and grabbed the orange toy truck from Adam's hand. Unfazed, Adam watched Kai examine the toy, searching for the letters that Kai knew were there. His heart thumped in his chest as he flipped the truck over. There they were, the initials CED, confirming what he already knew. Christopher Daxon. Kai's face paled with memories of Chrissy flooding his mind. He could still see him holding the truck he had given his nephew years ago. Chrissy's fingers grubby with dirt from pushing it through the sand. The child's laughter deafening in his ears, his voice echoing forever in his heart.
Uncle!
He closed his eyes, fighting to push away the grief. When was the last time he thought of Chrissy? Shame penetrated into every fiber of his being. How could he have allowed Chrissy's memory to be pushed back into the background? How could he ever, for a moment, forget? With a gentle touch, he ran the pad of his thumb along the initials CD, feeling the worn ridges where Kai once watched as Chrissy struggled to carve them into the back of the truck using a nail. The boy had been determined, and Kai gently placed him on his lap, guiding his small hand as they etched out the letters together. He could still smell the sweet scent of Chrissy's hair tickling his nose as he leaned over the boy, watching his little tongue stick out in concentration. Kai looked down at Adam, trying to comprehend how Chrissy's truck was now in the hands of this child.
You gave it to me. In the grocery store.
Stunned, of course, Kai remembered giving the toy truck to a frightened lost boy, but didn't recognize that it was Adam. Now here he was, the same boy sitting in the sand, looking up at him. Ben Holland's son. The boy who could destroy them all.
What do those letters mean?
Adam's child's voice carried a weight beyond his years, as if an old soul inhabited him.
My nephew's name.
Christopher Daxon. Kai returned to the truck, patting the boy's shoulder as he stood up to go. He felt ashamed for not recognizing Leah and Adam from that day in the grocery store. Yet here was Adam, the boy Kai had carelessly given his most prized possession to. Was it coincidence that the same boy was here in Hayden? With wide eyes, the little boy extended his arm towards Kai, offering him the toy truck back.
Look, Kai, I'm taking really good care of it. Do you think Chrissy will be proud and happy?
You remember my name?
Yeah, you're my Indian warrior. You're supposed to protect me.
Kai was taken aback.
Protect you? How so?
The boy shrugged his shoulders.
Don't know. That's big people stuff.
He pushed the car back into the sand, making rumbling noises, his little lips vibrating with the sounds of engines.
Yes.
The words stumbled from Kai's lips. He felt weird, out of body. How was this happening? How could the boy in front of him be the same boy from the grocery store? Why did this kid think Kai was supposed to protect him? The boy looked up, his eyes squinting from the sun.
Chrissy, he would be proud and happy. You've done a good job.
Tickling vibrations from Adam's laughter filled Kai's ears. It was nice, he had to admit, to hear the sound of a child's laughter once again.
Kai?
He snapped his head towards the approaching footsteps, annoyed that Chris was coming towards him. He looked back at the boy, longing to stand for just a moment longer, but the crunching of Chris's feet along the gravel told Kai he could not ignore him.
Yes?
He turned and started walking towards Chris, keeping a few feet of distance between them and Adam.
I was talking to the kid.
Chris jumped right into the conversation, no beating around the bush. His words streamed out of his mouth, which Kai knew were not as fast as Chris's thoughts. One thing Kai had learned about Chris was he may be annoying, and Kai did not like that the guy was dating his sister, but he was quick as a whip. Chris on Weir was a smart guy. Probably smarter than Kai. Who was Kai kidding? Chris was smarter than most of them. But smart people don't always do smart things.
Yeah?
Kai said matter-of-factly, looking back at Adam.
She was telling me about your conversation this morning.
Kai straightened his back, giving Chris his full attention.
And
It's a good idea. Going out and seeing what is out there. It's been long enough.
Chris paused, a strange look crossing his face. Kai couldn't put his finger on it, but there was always something about Chris that seemed to be hidden. Something that Kai couldn't shake or completely trust.
I agree.
Adam looked up, not even trying to hide that he could hear what Chris and Kai were saying.
Don't worry. Kai's gonna protect us from Daddy. He's my Indian warrior. He's gonna protect us all.
The two men turned in union, both startled by the eerie sounds of the boy's voice.
What do you mean, Daddy? Do you know something about your daddy? Is he near here?
Chris's eyes scanned the area, the look of fear visible on his face.
Indian warrior? I thought that was a term we are not supposed to use anymore.
Kai was taken aback. He had not seen Chris this rattled before. Adam's somber gaze remained fixed on them as he raised his hand and gestured towards the bushes in the distance.
He's out there. He thinks he's hiding from us.
Adam lowered his hand and returned to playing, mimicking car noises. A chill ran through Kai, but Chris's face had turned a pale gray color.
Adam? Does your dad know that you're here?
Kai tried to ignore Chris, the sense of fear growing in him. Had they made a catastrophic mistake allowing Leah and Adam into Hayden? Adam nodded and began to hum, not looking up at them.
Does your mother know this?
Kai asked, afraid to hear the answer.
Nuh-uh.
He rapidly shook his head, as if the very idea was something he didn't want his mother to know.
Why do you think your daddy's here? Did you see him?
Adam cocked his head, as if he did not understand the question, and looked again at the trees swaying out ahead of them, like there was something or someone there, watching.
He's always around. But Mommy doesn't know. She thinks we're hiding from him, but he's always there, watching us.
The ice-pick chill spiked Kai's back again.
Have you seen him? Has he talked to you?
Kai asked, realizing he had become too comfortable with the day-to-day routine he'd fallen into.
Nope. He thinks he's hiding from me, too.
Adam didn't look at them, but continued playing with his toys.
But you haven't seen him.
Kai could sense that Adam's attention was drifting away.
Nope. Sometimes I think I see him, but then he's gone. But I know he was there, even if my eyes play tricks.
Kai relaxed. This was just a young boy who missed his father. He hadn't seen him in a long time. It was longing, something children with big imaginations conjure up. Chris paced back and forth, running his hands through his dark hair. Fear emanated from him with every step he took. He was always on edge, always worried about what lay beyond Hayden's boundaries, to the point of being radical. And then it hit Kai. Just like Summer. Chris and Summer had seen more of what was out there than Kai had.
Adam, do you want your daddy? Do you miss him?
Kai asked, his mind spinning as he stared at the top of the boy's head, willing him to give answers he did not want to hear. Adam shook his head violently, his cheeks and his little lips quivering.
Nuh-uh. No way.
He couldn't shake the feeling of dread and unease. The boy's innocence and his mother's desperation to save him had blinded him. She was just trying to protect her child, but now Kai feared what he had unknowingly let into their lives.
This is why we need to become more vigilant about security.
Chris ranted as he walked back and forth, his mind visibly churning with thoughts. Kai seized Chris's arm, tugging him away from Adam so he could not hear them.
Do you know something about this Ben Holland that you haven't told me about?
Chris remained still, incapable of response.
You need to be honest with me.
Ben Holland is a dangerous individual. He's not someone to mess with,
Chris stated, turning towards the boy who sat motionless with the truck in his grip. He seemed to listen to every word they spoke.
Did we make a mistake bringing them here?
Chris looked up, his eyes already telling Kai everything he needed to know.
What do I think?
Kai could see the resignation in Chris's eyes, but they remained clear and focused as he looked back at him.
We need all our attention on more security, a stronger force field to protect the people that are already here. Summer is right. We have to go out there, assess what remains, and get ready for the worst. Find out where the fuck help is. Why has no one come to save us? What is beyond Lex?
He nods his head towards Adam.
Did we make a mistake bringing Holland's family into Hayden? It's too late for that. They are here.
Chris clenched and unclenched his trembling hands before looking back to where he could see Leah and Lonnie chatting on a bench. Maggie mugs sprawled out in between them, basking in the attention. Kai gazed towards the two women. Leah's eyes met his for a moment, causing conflicting feelings to stir within him. Her presence inside Hayden had set a target on every single person in it. Despite this, Kai couldn't help but feel a strange pull towards her. Flustered, he averted his eyes to the ground, embarrassed she'd spotted him looking at her. Chris pushed his glasses up his nose, turning to look out into the forest of trees Adam had pointed to. They felt ominous, no longer comforting.
We're going to have to decide how far we are willing to go to keep this place safe.
Kai looked at Adam and then back at Lonnie and Leah, still chatting, innocent of what was going on.
I would do anything to protect Hayden.
Anything?
Chris asked, placing a hand on Kai's shoulder. Kai paused, looking at him. He cast one last glance at the boy, Adam Holland, who thought Kai was his protector, his Indian warrior. The caw of a bird above caught their attention. A majestic raven burst out from the trees Adam moments ago was pointing at. Kai's mind wandered to the raven he had seen outside the grocery store. It was his symbol, his animal totem, if he believed in such things. And he did. Despite not being taught to, it was there, buried deep inside the depths of his soul. The raven soared overhead, its wings stretched wide, its cawing reverberated through the sky. It seemed to play with the clouds, dancing in the air above. His people. Something he had been searching for his entire life. Who were the men, women, and children in Hayden? Were they not his people? He thought of Summer and Lonnie, even Chris. If they were not his people, then who were? Kai knew his answer.
I'll do whatever it takes,
he said, his eyes reverting to Adam. The boy stood tall, neck craning as he reached up towards the raven soaring overhead, as if trying to grasp it with his fingertips. Kai felt an overwhelming sense of duty and protectiveness wash over him, something he had only experienced once before. He could sense Chrissy beside him, trying to pull on his arm. Adam was a part of Hayden, and therefore Kai's responsibility. He tore his gaze away from the boy and turned to face the mother. She was gazing up at the raven circling above. When she noticed Kai looking at her, she nodded, flushing and averting her eyes. Kai refocused his attention on the boy standing on his tiptoes, his hand straining to reach the unreachable. Regardless of all reasons to be concerned, Kai was going to protect Leah and her son. They were staying in Hayden,